Now we're going to learn the last part of speech, conjunctions, and how to use them in compound situations. We use conjunctions to join things together in a sentence. One of the rules about joining things together is that the things must be alike. You can join two nouns, boy and girl, or two verbs, walked and ran, or three adverbs, they moved slowly, quietly, and carefully. You really can join anything else together with a conjunction as long as the things are alike. But you can't join things which are not alike. Walk and table, boy and sing, they have to be alike. By now, I bet you figured out that and is a conjunction, but that's not the only one. The conjunctions in English are and, or, but, nor, for when it means because, and yet when it means but. When you find a conjunction in a sentence, mark it CON or CJ. A compound thing in a sentence is when there are two or more of something. When a sentence has more than one subject, we call it a compound subject. When it has two or more verbs, we call it a compound verb, and so on. When you have to diagram a sentence with a compound thing in it, you decide where it would go in the diagram if it were only one thing, and then you just branch off the line. The conjunction is placed on a dotted line between the compound subject or predicate or objects. Here is an example of a compound subject. John and Jim walked home. John and Jim are branched on the subject line and is connecting them with a dotted line. In our first compound verb sentence, Sean mowed and raked the front yard. Mowed and rake share the same direct object, yard. So, mowed and raked branch out with a dotted line for the conjunction and then branch back together to connect to yard. Here is a second example for a compound verb. Sean cleaned his room and did his chores. Cleaned and did are connected by a dotted line with the conjunction and. It is branched out, but they each have their own direct object this time, so they do not branch back together. Cleaned room, did chores. An example of a compound direct object. Susan ate a sandwich and chips. And a compound indirect object. Joe sent Jim and me presents. As you can see, for both of the compounds, the line branches and has a conjunction on the dotted line. Compound predicate nominatives or predicate adjectives are diagrammed the same. She felt hungry and tired, or she was a musician and an athlete. To diagram a compound prepositional phrase, you diagram both prepositional phrases, and then you connect them with a dotted line and a conjunction. However, when diagramming a preposition that has a compound object of a preposition, you first diagram the preposition as usual, and then you branch where the object of the preposition goes. Make sure to include your conjunction with a dotted line. Notice that because the modifiers the and new describe both the table and the chairs, they are attached to the line before it branches out. If they were only for one, they would just modify that line. Compound modifiers are diagrammed as usual and then connected with a dotted line and a conjunction. And when you have three or more of something, you just add another branch. So Ed, Joe, and Jim. The subject can hold three branches instead of only two. And finally, when diagramming a compound sentence, you can diagram the first sentence and the second sentence separately, and then connect them with the conjunction with this funny top L, bottom L shape.